Hi guys, I am going to walk you through some notes for structuring what I am calling a comparative analysis. So structuring a comparative analysis comparative analysis can be done for lots of things, but because our topic is specifically profession analysis and what we're seeing on TV, I'm saying that specifically this is comparing what you see on screen to the reality. So here's what you need in order to do this assignment. In order to do a comparative analysis, and it's for me a set of paragraphs, 2 paragraphs, you need one scene from your primary source. You can pick one specific scene from your primary source, or if you're noticing that there are multiple scenes where you see this profession being depicted in this way, whatever way you're going to talk about it, then you could write more generally. However, I find that the papers that are the most effective are the papers that do pick a characteristic scene. So even if there's 50 scenes you could pull from, the student picks one as an example of multiple times in which this profession is being depicted in this way. So you need one scene or a collection of general scenes, so just basic overview. And you see that I'm saying one secondary source, and you feel like that's contradictory to what I'm saying in the research proposal. It's because for the research proposal, I want you to look at 2 sources, but for your final paper, you have more freedom. You can look at as many sources as you want in your accuracy argument paragraphs. Okay. I was going to say too that you probably want to kind of already know the topic you're going to be looking at. So for example, picking Grey's Anatomy, and I know I'm picking a profession, but what specific for this pairing of analysis, what specific aspect of that profession am I going to look at? Because there could be 50 different aspects I could look at, but which one am I going to focus on for this part of my paper? So the best essays are the ones that pick, of course, multiple scenes, but not just multiple scenes to portray a number of different, or to portray the same aspect of the profession. For example, if I am looking at being a lawyer and I notice them filing papers in 20 scenes, I don't need to express and detail out 20 different scenes to talk about one aspect of the profession, which is filing papers. What I think would be better, what I would rather do as a writer, is find different aspects of the profession and scenes for each one of those aspects. So maybe a scene from the courtroom where the lawyer is defending a criminal, a scene where the lawyer is filing papers, a scene where the lawyer is doing research, a scene where the lawyer is depicted interacting with his boss or the people below him, or her boss or the people below her, something like that. So different aspects of that profession. When I am telling you guys to grab a scene and analyze it, you wouldn't want to write a paper that analyzes 5 scenes, but all lawyers filing papers in every single scene, because that is just being ridiculously redundant. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Email me if it doesn't. Alright, so you need a scene and you need a source. You want to remember these 2 things about the paragraphs that we're going to outline in this video. So this comparative analysis is a 2-part segment, 1 paragraph and then a follow-up paragraph, and they're buddies. They go together. They generally should be next to each other. In your research proposal, I'm asking for your writing to be very, very formulaic. As you get to your final paper, if you have your own ideas for what needs to happen to make your writing most effective, then you can change this up. But for your research proposal, show me that you understand the concept and then build on that concept later. Okay, so for paragraph 1, what I want you to remember is that the goal of this paragraph is to show a scene from your primary source and tell your reader what that scene suggests about the profession that you're analyzing. So here's a 10-second clip. Obviously, you're not showing them, you're describing it, right? Here's a 10-second description of what I see on screen. And this is what this suggests about the profession. In this first paragraph, you're really not talking about accuracy at all. So you're not saying, well, I see this happening and it's not accurate. or I see this happening and it is accurate. Just, I see this happening and it tells me this about the profession in general. So I see lawyers filing papers, and that tells me that lawyers do paperwork. And I see this one specific lawyer from this one specific show, right? We're looking at a key example, and it's telling me that all lawyers do this. Okay, so from specific to general, but not accuracy. What I want you to remember about paragraph 2 is that the goal of this paragraph is to compare what you see on screen and make a judgment about accuracy. So the second part of this comparative analysis 2-part segment, that's where you can make the argument about accuracy. And of course, what I want you to also remember is this is where you incorporate your secondary sources. So for your first paragraph, only provide me information from your movie or your TV show and information from your brain and how you're processing what you're seeing on screen. Your second paragraph, you can go back and talk about your movie or your TV show. In fact, I'll encourage that, and you'll see where I encourage that. But that second paragraph is where you're talking about accuracy and you're bringing in your secondary sources. All right, let's look at the structure of paragraph 1 specifically. So I'm asking for this specific structure absolutely in your research proposal. And you can navigate away from that in your final paper if you need to, as long as your writing is still effective and follows conventional academic writing standards. Okay, so you've really got to think about this in 3 sections. The first paragraph has a topic sentence, details, and a concluding sentence, like every paragraph that you write for an academic essay. So I want you to begin your scene suggestion paragraph with a topic sentence that tells the reader what the scene suggests about the profession. I get a lot of students who will just jump right into describing the scene. You know, in Grey's Anatomy, season 1, episode 1, so-and-so does this and this and this. But that's not the main idea of your paragraph. Your main idea needs to be reflected in that topic sentence. And remember, the main idea is, what does this suggest? What does this scene suggest? Why are you showing me this scene? Why are you describing it? Because you're telling me, well, if I'm looking at this as a viewer and I'm internalizing these actions from surgeons, lawyers, profession, whoever, I might assume this specific element applies to all of the professions. That's the goal of this paragraph, right? So what do you see? What assumption can you make about the profession based on the scene? That's the main idea of the paragraph, and that should be reflected in the topic sentence. Once you've written your topic sentence, I want you to segue into presenting the details of the scene. Only include relevant details. Y'all, one time I had a student write a paper on, I think it was Bad Boys, and he was analyzing the accuracy of police work. Great subject, great topic, but he described in like 2 pages for just 1 paragraph every turn the officers took when they were chasing down the bad guy, the color of misunderstood what I meant by details, or if he was trying to pad his essay with extra words. But I am asking you for only the relevant details. There are lots of things you could say about the scene, but only give me the ones that apply to the profession and how you're analyzing it. Okay, if the color of the character's shirt is irrelevant to your argument and to your analysis, then I don't need to know the color of the shirt. If you're writing about a specific scene, then don't forget to incorporate timestamps into your in-text citations. You'll see examples of that in just a second. If you're discussing multiple scenes of the same nature, again, that's fine. You can kind of talk about the show in general. You know, I see there are 15 scenes in the first episode of a lawyer filing papers. This suggests lawyers file papers. I think that sounds a little bit broad. I think that would be hard to write a paragraph about, especially for your research proposal. Now, later on in your final paper, if you have just a couple of sentences on that and you want to bring that together with these 2 paragraphs just as one, for your final paper, you can do that. But for this paper, I'd pick something you can be as detailed as possible with. So once you have your topic sentence, then you present and describe the scene. End on a concluding sentence reminding your readers what the scene suggests about that profession. A lot of students will try and go ahead and make an argument on accuracy, but I do not want to know anything about accuracy in the first paragraph where you're just talking about that scene suggestion. Okay. I often, as I write these examples, I find I have a hard time with the concluding sentence. So what I go to characteristically is a question. Is this scene accurate? Let's find out in the next paragraph. Is that the best way to go about it? Maybe not, but I find I can write it really effectively. So I don't know. You guys can check out what you think. Okay, if you want to jump right into an example of this paragraph that I just outlined, skip ahead just a little bit. I'll put some timestamps down here. I'm going to go and talk about outlining the next paragraph, that second paragraph within this segment of comparative analysis, and then I'll give an example of both together because I think it functions better that way. But if you want to go see an example right now, then go look for that example of paragraph 1. All right, so the structure of paragraph 2, or the accuracy argument paragraph. Now this is where you're looking at the research and you're saying, okay, so if I'm noticing that lawyers file paper on TV, is that true? Do they file papers in real life? If I'm noticing that surgeons are extremely competitive, is that true? Are surgeons actually this competitive in real life? If I'm noticing that the mailman in this movie I'm watching constantly has conversations with the people who live in the houses that they deliver mail to, is that true? Is that really something that mail people do? Okay, so begin with a topic sentence again. Remember, this is going to have the same format as all academic body paragraphs. The topic sentence, details, concluding sentence. This time, your topic sentence, because topic sentences, as they do, suggest or reflect the main idea of the paragraph. The main idea of this paragraph is accuracy, which means now you can tell me in that topic sentence whether what you saw in that scene is accurate to real life. Once you've written your topic sentence, provide your details and specifics from your secondary sources. Don't forget to use in-text citations. Remember, your goal is to make a comparison. If the on-screen profession is accurate, tell me about real professionals who also do what you see on screen, or you can even apply what you learn from like a handbook or a textbook to what you see on screen. For example, you might not necessarily have any research about memoirs from real professionals, but if you notice that the people on screen skip 25 steps in analyzing forensics, and you know that because you looked at the handbook on how to analyze forensics, you can apply that to your scene analysis. If the on-screen profession is not accurate, or whether it's accurate or not, give me the proof to back up your claim. Something that a lot of students ask me in my face-to-face classes at this point is, can I use myself and my career as support for my argument on accuracy? No, but you can interview someone at your job and use them as support for your argument. So that would be fine. But you don't want to say I in your final paper anywhere at all. In your research proposal, you don't want to say I in the 2 paragraphs that we're talking about in this video. Okay, so no, I think the profession is accurately depicted. I believe, in my opinion, none of that. Just say the profession is accurately depicted. The profession is not accurately depicted, whatever. Remove all that extra me thinking kind of things. Then end on the concluding sentence that connects the argument to the scene. So this is kind of one of those things where a lot of my students will forget all about the scene that they just described to me, and they'll just talk about what the profession does. But remember, this is a comparison, so if you're noticing a similarity or noticing a difference, then state that in the paragraph, and the concluding sentence might be the best place to put that link so that you kind of recap that segment of the paper, and then you can move on to a new segment. All right, we're going to take a look at an example. If at this point you have any questions, go ahead and pause, send me some emails, but then come back for questions. So I am going to go ahead and just kind of put a color code here because, you know, I don't know, have I color coded anything with you guys? I can't remember, but I'm going to color code some stuff right now, and what have I done? Okay, I'm just going to move all around this whole page. So I'm going to color code the topic sentence like an interesting orange, yellow. The supporting details in paragraph 1, I'm going to color code green, and then the concluding sentence, I will color code like a red, and then I will do blue for my topic sentence in paragraph 2. I will do yellow for my supporting details in paragraph 2, and I will do purple for my concluding sentence. Okay. So I'm going to read this. If you don't want to just listen to me read, I think this is really going to be the end of the video, so you can stop here. But if you do, then great. Thanks for staying with me. All right. I'll probably explain what's happening too. So I don't know. Maybe you want to read, or maybe you want to listen. The movie Chocolate. I'm gonna say it funky every time. The movie Chocolate would have audiences believe that bakers tend to give away free samples. So this is my topic sentence. Remember, I said your topic sentence should tell me what the scene suggests. Well, this topic sentence does just that. It's telling me that this scene suggests, what color did I say I was going to use? This one. This scene suggests that bakers give away free samples. It's as simple as that. I get a lot of students, again, jumping right into describing the scene, but you're going too fast if that's your plan. Go back up one step. Give me a topic sentence, okay? I'm going to read all of the supporting details and then I'll highlight them. In one scene from this film, we see Vienne set 2 hot chocolate mugs on the counter as a gesture of friendship toward a mother and her son, free of charge. Only seconds later, Anouk, Vienne's daughter, spins a Mayan stone wheel and asks what image a customer sees in the wheel. And here we're looking at some examples of my in-text citations with those timestamps. The timestamps are not super accurate, just so you know. After the customer answers, Vienne expertly recommends the chocolate pepper triangle and offers the customer a free sample. In this same scene in Chocolat, Vienne also recommends a sample of bitter dark chocolate to a young boy. While the boy's mother will not let him taste the sample, it is safe to assume that Vienne is happy to encourage customers to find their favorites by offering free tastings. Okay, so I could have talked about a lot of other things that happen in this scene, but all I am really concerned with are these supporting details that are relevant to the content that I'm looking at. I talk about the free samples of hot chocolate, I talk about the free samples of the pepper triangle, and then I talk about the free sample of the bitter dark chocolate. She had other things that was going on in the scene I looked at. She was painting the walls, taking down paper. She was smiling and being warm and friendly, but this is just the relevant stuff. So I'm analyzing this, right? Here's my example of a concluding sentence where, again, I'm bad at writing these, and so I tend to ask questions. So I say, but this begs the question, is Vienne offering free samples as a reflection of true bakery practices, or is she just trying to make new friends? That's my concluding sentence. I don't know yet. I have no idea in terms of me as a reader understanding whether or not this scene is accurate. Okay, that comes later. Something I notice a lot in students' research proposals, less in the final paper, but more so in the research proposal, and can be problematic if you intend to use your comparative analysis from your research proposal and put it into your final paper. So because this will be the first time you're writing the comparative analysis, a lot of my students tend to give too many details in terms of summarizing, or for the goal of summarizing what's going on plot-wise in the movie. That's not necessary because your introduction and your final paper will summarize the plot. Just, again, talk about relevant details. So, for example, I could have explained the fact that Vienne was new to town. I could have explained the fact that this town was, I think, on like a, what's it called where you give, I think they were in Lent. And, you know, talking about how everyone in the town is very conservative, but Vienne is a little more wild than the rest of the town. All of that plot summary stuff belongs in my introduction, so there's no reason that I need to put it in my comparative analysis. I'm just putting in relevant details. So let me show you the example of the second paragraph, which is where I am making my accuracy argument. It turns out, wait, really quick, let me look at my color code. Blue, yellow, purple. Okay. It turns out that this scene in chocolate accurately reflects effective and common customer service practices. So here's my topic sentence. When you're looking at your topic sentence, you want to make sure that you can find that argument about accuracy. So if you reread this topic sentence, here's my question. Does it say whether or not the scene from chocolate is accurate? Yes, it does. Accurately reflects effective and common customer service practices. Okay, so we're good to go. Now I'm going to read through my supporting details where I've actually incorporated 3 sources because I found one